RAC Arena. Please welcome our teams for the next clash in our Group F United Cup. Please welcome Team Argentina. Represented by Captain Del Duco and Francisco Cerundolo. Would you now please welcome Team
that he would be the top-ranked Frenchman come this time, 2022. Of course, a few of them have retired. We've seen goodbyes to Gilles Simon, as well as Joe Wilfred Songa. But this man has taken a different route, went to college in the States, and enjoyed his time there, and he really has progressed well as a result of those years at Texas A&M. Somebody alongside me who also spent a few years in the States is the legendary John Fitzgerald. Good evening, Fitzy.
Hello, Robbie. That was a long time ago, but yes, it's a way to make it into the pros, isn't it? It's one of the avenues you can take to go to college in the US and play a lot of tough matches, and certainly Arthur Rinderknech has been that route. He had a good coach in Steve Denton at Texas A&M.
He's going to be helping me out. How are you? All right, guys, remember we were using live electronic line calling. Clocks are in all four corners. Take the blue, please, for your towels. Yellow, please, for yours. It's tape inside the box. All right, besides that, any questions? No? Heads, tails? Heads, tails, heads. Okay, go ahead. It is heads.
I serve.
Serve. Okay, quick photo facing that way, please.
Tell you, there was some good topspin there on that coin toss. Plenty of revolutions. He'd make a good leggy, that young man.
A leg spinner.
So if you watch tennis on a regular basis, you might know who these two are, but they are relatively new to the scene. And Arthur Rinderknech, his player bio has popped up first. So the man from Gassin in France, and we mentioned Fitzy that he took the college route, but it's been a solid year for him, all things considered.
Yeah, he's at his peak, isn't he, right now? He hasn't been higher than he's ranked right now, and in the low 40s, which is a heck of an effort on this world stage. And he will feel more comfortable, probably, I would think, on a hard court than anything else, because that's where he did a lot of his learning down in Texas. They play a lot of matches in that college system, and it's all on hard court. So, well, the majority certainly is. And so he knows this type of surface, and that's an advantage, I think.
Yeah, and of course, likes the warm conditions. Played well in Australia 12 months ago. Remember, he made the finals of the Adelaide 2 event, losing to Tanasi Kokonakis there. He's got 4 challenger titles as well, to his credit. So this is a man who's very much on the up and up. A semi-finalist in Doha, and as Fitzy was alluding to, plays some good ball on the hard courts. Won a couple of matches at Indian Wells and Miami, respectively. Really bookended his year, did Rinderknech. Won a lot of matches early, then later on in the season. And that's what allowed him to have a career high ranking at the moment. This man from Buenos Aires had a chat to Francisco yesterday. There was a big training block that was going on in the preseason. The likes of Diego Schwartzman, Sebastian Baez, Montero was down there. His younger brother, of course, who's a decent player, Federico Coria, who stepped in for Diego. So these guys have been preparing well, and of course conditions in the southern hemisphere, nice and warm. They are well prepared. Fitzy, you and I were just having a look at Francisco's year. It's really based around 4 tournaments, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how he got to be number 24 in the world, because his results really have come in blocks. So that means he's had some down times as well. Obviously, you know, we talked about Miami. It's a huge tournament in the early part of the year on the hard court in the US down in Florida, and he made a semi-final of that. It was a breakthrough tournament for him because it was the first time he'd ever won a match on a hard court surface at that level. So got through to the semi-finals. There's Cerundolo. She was a very good player in her own right, wasn't she? And
yeah, she certainly was. I think got to number 24 in the world, 26 in the world was her career high ranking.
Looks like she could still compete on the tour. She's in great shape, and great to see her in charge of this team. And yeah, I think Francisco, and there's a very famous name in French tennis.
Edouard Roger-Vasselin played some good singles and doubles. Of course, was a top doubles player.
And his father was a good player.
That's right.
Or I can remember him, hey, way back in the day. What a great line of players they've had in that family. So, yeah, there's a lot of tennis history here. Be interesting to see how these two traditionally clay court country players would fare against each other on hard court.
Yeah, mentioning the fact that Cerundolo's majority of his points coming from 4 events, 970 out of about 1,300 have come from doing so well in Miami, the Masters 1000 event there, semi-finalist, won Årstad. Of course, that's a tournament. If you go there, and you can keep your concentration, you can stay away from the nightlife there. I mean, you're already a quarterfinalist. And then the following week played well in Hamburg, where he made the semis there and went deep in Buenos Aires.
It means that he's got lumps and bumps in that ranking system of his, hasn't he? He's made a lot of points at tournaments where he started to win matches and then gets confident and does really well.
Yep.
But he's had a lot of tournaments that he hasn't got past the first round, of course, and hasn't made a lot of points in some of those. So maybe he's a player that hits form and starts believing in himself. But these are new conditions here, and it's always hard to play that first match.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. So it was just 11 days ago that France and Argentina squared off on football's biggest stage this evening. The two tennis powers lock horns in the sport's newest and biggest combined team event. Can Cerundolo deny France again, or will Rinderknech revoke the Argentine? Let's see which man can save his best for last. Cerundolo to get us underway. Good start.
It's pretty good movement for a tall man. Covered the court well there and anticipated the high cross-court forehand volley. I like the way the young Argentinian came straight to the net there in the first point, though. That shows he's not afraid of an all-court game. Good to see.
Forehand has got some revs on it.
Well, he lost the opening point by coming to the net quickly. He missed an opportunity in that second point to come in, but relied on his more traditional shot, the forehand from the back of the court. This is world class, this one. Well, that was the right ball. Just overcooked it. And his opponent, Rinderknech, has not missed a ball yet. It seems he's, for a guy that's 6'5" in the old language, at 196 metres, he covers the court well, and he's playing like a road runner at the moment in this game. 2 break points here.
$30-40.
Oh, got the volley he wanted.
Well, that's certainly the style of point that an American college player would play. He's ripped a few ground strokes. As soon as he saw an opportunity, he approached the net. But there was a bit of a big swing on that forehand volley. He tried to really nail it. Caught it late in the end.
Advantage.
Yeah, and if
Team
the ball
Argentina.
bounces high to that forehand, you're going to expect that quite often. What a good ball that was, up high above the shoulder. That's how they like it, don't they? The kids that grow up on the clay court surfaces.
Game. Team Argentina.
He's done well to get out of that game. It'll be
First game.
type of service hold that just settles the nerves, Fitzy.
Makes a big difference to hold that one too. If you open your account with a break against you, it can really set you back in the early stages of a match. So he did well there, did Francisco.
Because he was also one of those players who spent a year at college in the States in 2018, University of South Carolina. This man was at Texas A&M, a powerhouse, of course, of a college that
The coach of Texas A&M made the Australian Open final twice.
in singles.
In singles.
That's right.
Steve Denton, our mate, still there, Texas A&M.
Still there. I think he is the longest serving college tennis coach.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, he was pretty famous with Kevin Curran, your countryman back
Representing
back in
Team
the
France.
day.
Yeah.
To serve.
I think they won the dubs there a couple of times at the Aussie Open. Arthur Rinderknech to serve it up.
Love 50.
Well, that flying forehand volley miss on the break point has set Rinderknech back a notch or two. He's made a couple of unforced errors since then. Maybe it shook him up. Yeah, and look for that play often. If Rinderknech gets anything like a short ball on the
15.
forehand, look for him to hit it down the line and come in and use his wingspan there. He's an all-quarter.
These two have played on one previous occasion. That was a challenger level. The Phoenix Challenger. Rinderknech winning that one in 3 sets.
$30-15.
Phoenix Challengers played during the 2nd week of Indian Wells, so for those players who lose early in Indian Wells, a lot of them can go and play that Challenger event. Ooh, that was a wayward toss, that. Much cooler this evening than what it was earlier on in the day. Fitzy, how's that going to affect conditions and the way the ball comes off the strings?
Well, it's an outdoor tournament, isn't it? And the heat, it's a dry heat here in Perth, more so than, say, in Sydney or Brisbane or the north of Queensland. It's a very dry heat, so the ball might fly a little bit during the day. It's a big forehand, isn't it, Cerundolo's? But he controls it. He's got great coverage on the ball that spins maybe a little more than his opponent, and he can keep the ball in with that dipping spin. It's a loose one, and I think the wrong choice there. That was just looks like his grip was slipping a bit, and maybe he went after that ball a bit earlier than he should have, but that was just a wrong choice for me. It was a low percentage shot there, a risk that he probably didn't need to take down the line.
Advantage, Team France. Game, Team France. 1 game.
So just like we saw in the opening game from Cerundolo. A few bumps in the road for Arthur Rinderknech, but got to the desired destination.
Well, he's a big man, and that serve comes in handy. Look, you're right. It looked like his ball toss was getting away sort of low and forward there a couple of times, but it was consistently sort of low and forward, or it appeared to be, but that's how he hits it. So finished off with 2 good ones, and that's a weapon for him.
15.
Would have been good to have a big serve like that, Robbie, wouldn't it?
Tell you what.
Instead of a cream puff.
Oh, no. Thanks for bringing the mood down in the commentary box.
This is great control here on this forehand, because that you know, to move forward like that and have to hit it high and keep it in. That's the spin. Great control.
He has vaporized that forehand.
35. 15.
There's nothing easy on the eye than easy power.
He just looks like an all-courter, doesn't he? An all-court player. He's looking for that ball that he can hit down the line, flatten out the forehand, and then move forward after the forehand strike.
Let for serve.
Yeah, it's something that we were asking both Tsitsipas and Dimitrov to do a little bit more of in their match today, especially given how good their forehands are.
Yeah, and this is a world-class forehand too, that you can tell how safe it is when he gets a short ball. He likes the ball bouncing high to Cerundolo, and it's look out if you drop it short in that on that wing.
Game. Team Argentina. Team Argentina leads.
It's a more comfortable hold. Team Argentina in a good position, 2-1. Well, we've mentioned how beautiful Western Australia is. This is Lucky Bay. Stunning white sands, clear waters on Esperance coastline. Of course, that is the Indian Ocean. That is my part of the world in Durban, South Africa. Claims to be Australia's whitest beach. It's a good drive, 8 hours south of Perth.
Oh, that's nothing.
Oh, really?
Nothing in this state.
Oh,
No.
wow. Oh, man.
That's just around the corner, Robbie.
Time.
That's the first evening session here in Perth of the inaugural United Cup. We played over 3 cities, Brisbane, Sydney, and of course the best one where we are, right here in Perth. Love the RAC Arena. It's stunning. First visit here, of course, was opened by Elton John way back in 2012. Seen some of the very best acts in the business play right here.
He was aggravated. There was Cerundolo missing that forehand. You couldn't believe it. Such a safe ball for him. They look evenly matched, don't they, in the early stages, these two?
And that match that they played at the Challenger in Phoenix went 3 sets, 6-2 in the third. The Frenchman eventually prevailing.
Well, that's part of his repertoire, the odd serve and volley, as it should be for a player of his style and height. But gee, it's a bit of a wake-up call to not quite get the serve exactly in the right position and allowing Cerundolo to swing at it. He's dangerous then.
All.
It's Cerundolo's coach on the left, Kevin Confederac.
A little bit of luck there for Cerundolo. A slight mishit on the return, and it fell nicely for him, but geez, dangerous. As soon as... Bit of luck here. He wraps it around the frame, but when it drops in, his opponent in trouble because this ball is way too short, and then it's over. You go to that forehand, too short.
Advantage, Team France.
That's a player backs himself. He's been punished going there with a 7-4. He's decided, well, I'm going to check it out. Let's see if you've still got the return. It's my favourite serve. I still think my serve is better than your forehand return.
Game, Team France. 2 games.
I think Rinderknech did a good job of balancing his season. Even though the ranking was up when he had a tough time in the summer. What's he got there? Perhaps a plaster. Didn't play great in the summer. Lost early in Wimbledon. He qualified at Canada. Lost first round to the man who's playing alongside him this week, Adrian Manarino. But they went to play a challenger in Vancouver, Fitzy, right before the US Open, just to get those matches under the belt. And that sparked a resurgence towards the tail end of the season.
Oh, that's a world-class shot. Deliberately played and very difficult, wasn't it, Robbie? What, 9 out of 10 difficulty factor?
Sure. I mean,
Love 50.
You're tough. I think in our sport, this is about as tough as it gets, this shot.
You think 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult. You've got to be strong up there, and he deliberately took the speed off that and carved it short, didn't he?
I mean, the creativity is right out of the top drawer. But just getting back to Rinderknech, the fact that he was prepared to drop down and play a challenger the week before the US Open, won a match there and then played well after that. Won a couple of matches in Tel Aviv and Gijón, that new tour event there, made the semi-finals and finished the year strong. There we go, a little bit of tape. Potential blister. That's on the rise.
Get the ball, please.
Yeah, I like that play.
A lot.
Yeah, because next time he serves there, you know, on a 30-all point or a 15-40 point, he's going to be wondering, is Cerundolo. That was a good play, and the all-court ability of Rinderknech there put him under pressure. So now there's an opening.
Didn't miss by much. Of course, it's an automatic line calling system that we have in place.
Little miss-hit there, but gee, that nearly dropped on the line. So took a risk. That was probably a more difficult ball for him to hit than the one you saw in the previous point.
This guy's average forehand speed this past season was right around 126 kilometers an hour. That's decent pace. In the top 50, it puts him at number 12. You can see how effective it was there through the court. It's a good combination of speed and spin, does the Argentine.
Team Argentina leads 3 games to 2.
So they keep their nose out front. The Argentinians lead 3-2 first set. Just some low-key input. I think that is Sebastian Villette on the right, coach of the Rinderknech. 27 years of age now. He's the Frenchman. And if you weren't with us at the start of the show, he is right around his career high of number 42. He sits currently at number 44 in the world. He is the #1 French player this week. 2 spots ahead of Adrian Manarino, who we'll see in action tomorrow. As far as this tie is concerned, it's the turn of the #1 men first. The ladies played a little earlier. Elisa Cornet with a win over Maria Carlet. Pretty comfortable in the end, 2-1. So that's put the French contingent off to a good start.
Let. For serve.
Well, the idea was right, I think. I mean, the first return was a beauty from Cerundolo and takes Rinderknech out of the court, but that's not good enough, that approach. It had to be deeper, wider, probably flatten it out a little bit if you can as well, but certainly deep and in the corner to approach off that. He gave his opposition too much time.
15 all.
Hawkeye just feeding us a bit of information. Cerundolo getting his forehand into play a little bit more at the moment, ahead of a season average. He's about 12% up on that. It's on the rally ball, folks. Oh, so close to getting it back into play. That's where you want a bit of improvisation, isn't it? That's where the very best players are so good. How often do we see Rafa on the stretch just chip that forehand or that backhand back into play? Novak does it so well on the forehand. That's why you want to try and find his backhand more often than the forehand. No question, it's the weaker wing.
Well, that's why he hits 2/3 of his balls on the forehand wing. He backs away to hit his strength, doesn't he? Well, mistake. We talk about this often, Robbie, and I know that you don't want to overemphasize this, but this ball had, if he goes here to the forehand, he's in trouble. Because well, there you go. It's obvious in pictures, isn't it? He just didn't get enough on it. He hit it straight to the strength of the opposition, and he was out of position himself. So if he's going to move forward there, he has to do something a bit different than that.
Yeah. Got to go back behind the opponent, make him stop and have to recover off the backhand.
It's an odd game, this one. They're both struggling a bit here.
Difference.
Much tougher being on the bench than out there playing.
So you might find it confusing at home that was an approach to the forehand side as well, but there was much more on it. The ball had bounced higher. He could get more leverage. He could hit down into the court with a more penetrating forehand. It's just if you hit into that forehand and it's not out of the opposition's comfort zone, then you're in trouble. But he really did press with that forehand, and it was an excellent ball to finish the point on.
Let's for serve.
Just a big believer, if you approach there and run to the net, you can be in trouble. You've got to almost go for a winner there against a fellow right-hander, I think.
Yeah, for me, without a doubt. With all the tennis I've been watching over the years, that is the #1 worst pattern of play, where players get burnt the most.
He's had his opportunities here, Cerundolo. He's frustrated.
He's got time to step up. You can see as the ball left his strings, not enough elevation on it.
Game, Team France.
Heart in the mouth moment there as that one just sailed long.
3 games.
Took the scenic route, but he's managed to hang on to his deal. 3 apiece.
I think you could tell there by his reaction to Rinderknech. He was relieved there. He didn't play his best game on that service game. And Cerundolo blew a couple of half opportunities there to really get him, get an early break. Well, excellent balance, wasn't it? For a big man, it's always dangerous to drop shot on a hard court because it's not as easy on this surface as it is on a clay court to drop shot. And this is dangerous. You've got to get it right. But Rinderknech, he really moves well and balances at the end for a big man, I think, to make that play. It was good athleticism.
6'5", this guy.
Ooh, a wild one.
Love 30.
Gee, that missed by a long way, that second ball, for some reason.
Well, that's a donation at love 30. He's done so well to make the return of the first serve. He's neutralized the rally immediately.
Yeah, both of these players have had moments where they've looked like they're going to threaten and break the shackles, and then they play an odd shot like that. That was a complete mishit.
Oh, he's licked the line with a forehand. But the initial defense was outstanding.
Can't argue with the linesman there. There is none. The technology is calling that ball. And it's easy for us to say, but it did look like it sped up a little bit when it caught the paint of the line, and it's produced 2 break points here for the Frenchman.
He's made it.
I think he's complaining. He looked at the central umpire and said the ball early in the rally was out, but
30-40.
Hey, it's technology calling that ball. The bounce just before then is what he was referring to.
Yeah, it was big in. 15 mils. What's that, 11 centimeters?
Game, Team France.
That one is out, and it doesn't matter how far it's out.
France leads 4 games to 3.
Rinderknech full of running as the French get the earlier break, 4-3. French Tennis Federation loves to integrate a lot of the former players into the FFT setup. Draw on their playing experience. It's not easy to become a tennis coach in France. If you want to be top level, it's a lot tougher than many other tennis nations. It takes about 3 years. Proper coaching courses that have to have been done. Got to qualify through a tough system. This Team France, the man top right of your screen, Adrian Manarino, will be in action tomorrow.
Time.
Just 2 spots between Rinderknech and Manarino in the rankings.
Don't you love the sport, though, when there's such diversity in style and technique in the sport? I mean, Manarino
He's opposite end of the spectrum, isn't
yeah, he's an interesting player.
Yeah.
Takes the ball early, doesn't swing as hard as most players, uses loose strings to generate more speed. He's a clever cat.
He is. New balls, 4-3 with a break.
Oh, gee. Well, with his style of playing, you know he wants to come to the net. They're the balls that can make a difference. You really need to finish the point when you do all the hard work and get in and hit a volley that needs to be made. That wasn't difficult. Missed a forehand volley on break point in the opening game of the match as well.
Yeah, same technical problem, right? Too big a swing.
I think so.
Yeah. If anybody would know, the man next to me would. Forged in steel, those volleys of Fitzy's. Cost me a lot of money in my playing days.
Not much. $1 here and there, Robbie.
I had to send my kids
Stop
to
it.
public schools rather than afford those fancy private ones.
I think you're stretching the truth.
Out. 30-15.
I think what he has done, though, Rinderknech, in this opening set is serve well on the big points. You know, the 30-all points, the juice points. Hasn't always played solid service games from go to woe, but at the right moments, he's hit good serves like that, and looks like consolidating that break of serve here.
40-50.
And that's what the scoring system in tennis really does favour. You've got to play the big points well. Perhaps against higher ranked opposition, he might not get away with what he's got away with so far this evening. You can only play what's in front of you.
Wait, please. $40-30.
And again, he comes up with a good one on the big point.
Team France
To
lead.
finish that game right there
5-3.
was important, and he has an ability, it seems, to serve well when it matters.
He's only lost 5 points as Rinderknech when he landed that first serve. almost got out of jail there.
Do we mention it again?
I think we do. I think we do, because we don't want
15
our friends at the local tennis club to make the same mistakes, right? That's where it all started, right there with the approach, the inside-in forehand.
Well, he scrambled the volleys well, didn't he? But he put himself under pressure by giving Cerundolo his favourite forehand passing shot to start that exchange.
Let's for serve.
You see anybody at your local club approaching with that inside-in forehand, it's going to cost them a beer afterwards for everybody who witnesses it in the bar. Or a drink, whatever your beverage of choice is.
Well, as long as it's a licensed club, Robbie.
Yeah.
15 all.
Gee, that wasn't a... He looked like he took his eye off the ball there, Cerundolo. That was a strange miss.
T's and C's apply.
I mean, he must have taken his eye off that ball.
I mean, it looked like he was passing it into the net. Strange.
But can't you tell,
30-15.
you know, how tough he'd be on a clay court, though, Cerundolo? Because I think this hard court surface just allows the Frenchman, who's got a slightly flatter trajectory in his ground strokes, and he's got the serve and more of a net game. He's looking to come in. He's got more of the hard court
30 all.
traditional game, has Rinderknech. Whereas Cerundolo is relying a lot on that forehand when the ball bounces high, and you can see when he's got time on a clay court, he'd be awfully hard to beat.
It's in a tight spot here.
I guess anyone that can make the
40-30.
semi-finals of Miami knows what he's doing on a hard court as well, though.
But it's worth putting into perspective, you know, testing to what you've just said. When he won his first match in Miami, Fitzy, that was the first time he'd ever won a main draw hard court match at the tour level. It's unbelievable, right?
But then he won 5 in a row.
Yeah, did well there. Big chunk of his points coming from the Masters 1000 event.
Game. Team Argentina.
So he's done well to hang on in here.
5 games to 4.
And he will force the Frenchman to step up to the line and try and serve out the opening set. Edouard Roger-Vasselin minding his own business.
I wonder if he's getting paid for that job, because he's not having to do much tonight, Edouard is. he's relying on the day-to-day coach of Arthur. Fair enough.
Pro rata, he'll be pro rata for this evening.
Yep. You don't want too much information anyway. The art of good coaching, I think, is that you don't overload someone. Speak when you need to. Well, Robbie, these are the games, aren't they, that make a difference. If you get into a winning position in a set and you get a chance to serve it out, it's like gold if you can do so. Finish the set off. Don't let this go back into an even situation if you're Arthur Rinderknech. He needs to play a good game here. put that first serve in the bank.
Yeah, you have a look at the statistics of the player that wins the opening set, how often they go on to win the match. It is overwhelmingly in their favor. There's no better feeling than closing out a set at the first time of asking.
Love 15.
Did we put the mozza on him?
I think we might have.
Opens with a double. That's not what you need. Well, he needs some coaching tactically
15.
so that he doesn't make that mistake so often. I mean, it's not what he does day in, day out. This is not his play to come in a lot. I mean, when you learn on clay so much, you mix it up, you drop shot, you do different things, but approaching there and coming in. But that's the wrong place to go if you're going to hit your forehand and come in and hit a volley.
That could be the tipping point in this match. Difference between
30-15.
being love 30 up. When the Frenchman's got to step up to the line, there's so much more pressure on his shoulders than at 15-all when he can step up and drop the hammer like that.
So much of tennis is tactical and learning how to play points as well. The young player is still learning. Young, good player, by the way.
Just knocked the fluff off that forehand.
See, if you don't hit that as well as that into that forehand corner, at least you're going to get another shot, because it's heavy enough so that the player's not going to hit a winner past you, and you're on the baseline, you've got more time. But when you approach off a ball into that wing, you better make it really good. Almost unreturnable.
Yeah, just too many untimely, unforced errors. Backhands let him down on occasions. Just hemorrhaged errors at the wrong times. Set point for Team France.
Game in first set.
Viva la France!
6 games to 4.
Arthur Rinderknech puts them in a strong position by garnering the opening set 6 games to 4 in 51 minutes. So a quick look at the opening. Keep doing it.
Team Argentina to serve. Love 15.
So these balls still relatively new and a little bit quicker through the air than when they get to be 6, 7, 8 games old. So more of an opportunity here, you would think, for the Frenchman with his style of play. Just hope that Cerundolo doesn't drop off here. The body language is starting to get a little negative. He needs to find some form here and consistency. Breaks have been hard to come by. Ooh, they had some angle on it. It just looked like it was going to clear the net there for a second, didn't it?
15.
And would have been awkward if it had have.
Simply stunning from Cerundolo. A rally of rich quality.
$30 all.
And he needed to find it here too, by the way. Said breaks of serve have been hard to come by, and an early one here against him would put him in a big hole. So that was a mighty good effort to win that point, and he needed it. Yeah. It wasn't even a perfect
43.
approach, but because it was deep, and he didn't give Rinderknech a running forehand to hit past him. He had a good chance to knock the volley off. Well played. Got to give credit where credit's due, Rob.
Absolutely. That's where the coach has got to clip that one off and show him the difference.
Let for serve.
This is what happens when you approach inside in, cross court on the forehand. Tempted twice, lost twice. You do the right pattern of play.
Yep.
Green tick.
You can be a sitting duck if you do the former. That was a big hole. Match.
First game, second set.
Yeah, monumental forehand. That first shot hasn't it, Fitzy? He knows exactly where he wants to direct it. Just loading up on that backhand side of the Argentine. Definitely his weaker wing. It's given off a lot of unforced errors. So the pattern of play is set in his mind. And look to dictate. The backhand strike is not clean. He'll keep bringing that forehand into play. And so far, it's been a simple tactic, but it's been very effective.
Yeah, it seems in his mind, you know, if he can get the first ball to the backhand, then he's not going to be put under pressure early in the point. So,
and especially if the first serve, we call it hunting the third shot with the forehand. Rinderknech so far in the match has been able to do that 82% of the time, using his weapons very effectively. There it is right there.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Arthur.
50.
Of course, it helps if you paint the line with the first shot. What a forehand that was. You wouldn't see that too often.
30-50.
That's a free point for the Frenchman there. And you can tell by the mumbling there of Francisco that he just can't believe he missed that easy forehand. He let it drop too low. I don't mind the play, but he just seemed to hesitate, did Rinderknech there. He didn't get in quick. He could have taken that ball another half a metre higher, lets it drop, and then can't put the ball away. Just gets too low on him here.
It's intelligent tennis because we haven't seen too many body serves, and with the bounce that he gets, it's like facing Mitchell Stark off a good length.
Game team friends. One game.
Just a little loose. Worth mentioning that Cerundolo would have been the #2 player for Team Argentina if Diego Schwartzman didn't pull out. Schwartzman ranked currently at 25 in the world. Francisco at number 30.
Love 50.
You know, he's shown signs of, he's such a solid hitter from the back of the court, but at times for 2 or 3 points in a row, he seems to go missing, doesn't he?
Yep.
And maybe that's the same trend in those tournaments we talked about. If he gets on a roll, he does very, very well, but he loses a lot of early matches in tournaments as well. So that consistency needs to be found to reach the top echelon. Another one.
Love 30.
And the body language of the Frenchman is a world apart at the moment from his opponent. What do you think down the line and in here, Robbie?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, the serve was too good for the He couldn't get around and hit the forehand and come in there, Rinderknech. Maybe it was in his mind at love 30 there, but a good second serve under pressure held him at bay.
Just getting back to your point regarding first round matches. He lost more first round matches this past season than he won. So spot on. He won 11 and lost 12 first round matches, did the Argentine.
Well, he's hit 2 good second serves here to get him get himself out of trouble a little bit. Rinderknech hasn't been able to get enough on the return to put the Argentine on the defensive. So hanging in there, Francisco. Well, there it was. It was just 2 points after we sort of wondered. But what a great play that is. And he can do it off both sides, because we've seen him do it off the forehand on that first court as well. Big point now.
Break point, Team France. Good response.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Goes to his strength.
Advantage, Team Argentina.
In his last 2 service games, he's been down love 30, and he held the first one of those, and maybe he's going to hold the second one too. That'll be 2 fighting efforts if he does so.
Deuce. Advantage, Team France.
A lot of negativity there, isn't there?
He knows that is money in the bank for him. Should be making that all day long. Now he's in trouble again. Break point down. That is simply stunning. Turning defense into attack on such an important point. Rinderknech now with a set and a break lead for Team France. So easy to overplay that last shot. Well, this is Perth City Centre. That's where we're staying. Nothing better than a city sunset over the river.
Can't believe you've never been here before, Robbie. You've got countrymen everywhere in this city.
Yeah, we have. A lot of South Africans here, Fitzy. So, the first stop on the way east. It's always got a nice ring to it, hasn't it? A set and a break lead.
He's composed, isn't he? Like, he's a good competitor, is Rinderknech. And a good mover for a big man. Like, he gets down well to that backhand wing. He doesn't have to slice too many balls there on the defensive. He's quick enough with his feet. Gets across, gets down low, and keeps hitting that two-hander. And at the end there, he took his time when the opportunity presented itself and really angled a ball beautifully for the winner.
It's hard to believe this guy who is now ranked 44 in the world actually struggled to make the college lineup in his first year at Texas A&M. Steve Denton was telling me earlier this year when I was in the States that he was a work in progress, this guy. He was very much a rough diamond, needed a fair bit of polishing. I think Steve's done a great job.
He stabbed at it a little bit. The technique looked okay, but he's missed a couple of volleys, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's not a lot of a natural feel around the net, is there?
He stabbed at that one, didn't he? And carried over the baseline pretty comfortably.
A lot of strong
15.
tennis universities in that Texas region. Got the University of Texas in Austin, TCU, where Cam Norrie came out of. They're not bad. And we'll have a young Koenig joining the Baylor Bears in a week or so's time. Young Kyle Koenig. Excuse me. Young Luke Koenig will be going there. Kyle's in Sydney. I've got Luke on the brain.
You know, it's a big mistake if you mix up your children, Robbie.
30, 15.
I always say I just love them equally, so it's very easy to get it mixed up.
Good comeback.
Yeah,
Isn't that great? What an exciting thing for a young South African man to do. Go to college in the States, plays tennis. Good change up there, the serve and volley. I love that. It's
40,
another
15.
way to win a point, and it keeps the opposition guessing.
Yeah. How good has that first serve been for Rinderknech?
Thank you.
48% of the time it has not come back. In stark contrast to his opponent. It's been the cornerstone of his game. And then you consider how many times he's delivered meaningful first serves,
40, 30.
big points, contributes greatly to the overall scoreline.
Clever chip return there. Made the big man get down a long way. Whoa, a wild one. Okay. Well, Francisco has a chance to get his teeth back into this second set here. And again, on the big point, he has the ability to hit an unreturnable. That's like gold in tennis. Because of the scoring system, the big points really matter.
Right out of the top draw.
Team France leads 3-1.
Marks out of 10 for that volley.
Yeah, nearly full marks. I mean, There's not many you can give full marks to, Robbie, but look, if I have to, I give that a 10.
Yep.
I mean, he takes his time here, great preparation, and he's a very competent volleyer, isn't he? Got down low and picked the right place and the right depth to put on that volley. And he served 2 big first serves from Juice again. Interesting.
Almost again from defense to offense.
15.
Doing some ultimate defending. Doing it off both wings. And just so you get used to the terminology when we talk about
30 line.
ultimate defending, we're showing the likelihood in percentage terms that once a player has been pushed to his extremities on the court, how they are able to survive on the point and then turn that point around from a defensive position to going on to win it. We have individual stats for that on both the forehand and the backhand wing. Got away with that approach.
30-15.
Well, he knew his opponent was going to have a swing at that forehand, and he chose one side. He didn't play off both sides against each other. He had to make a choice because he was in trouble. But in the end, Cerundolo couldn't clear the net there.
Game. Team Argentina. Team France leads 3 games to 2.
Reduces their rear, but still down a set and a break, or Team Argentina.
Amazing concept this, isn't it, Robbie? This United Cup, it's something that I think can really add to the sport. You know, 1 and 1 equals 3, really. It's the men and the women together. It creates interest, and it's a team competition at that.
Well, the ATP Tour and the Hologic WTA Tour launching the 2023 season with this first annual United Cup team event. And for the first time, on the tours. The men and women are joining forces for the same championships. 9 top 10 players will represent their countries over the next 10 days or so. We've got the likes of world number 1 Iga Swiatek of Poland. We've got Rafael Nadal of Spain, and world number 3 is Jessica Pegula of United States and Casper Ruud of Norway. So great to have so many of the top players committed to this first edition of the United Cup. Such a win-win for the fans as well, isn't it?
Love it.
I think so. Spread over 3 cities.
Yeah, $15 million of prize money up for grabs as well. It's a good chunk of change.
$18 countries involved. Fabulous.
$15 all.
It's never easy to win a point out here, though, is it? No matter what the scoreline is, it is a set and a break. But all of these points are still difficult to win. Well, he took a risk there. I thought for sure he was going down the line with that approach.
15-30.
Good scramble. Great scramble from Francisco there to make him play, make him stretch.
$30
You know, for me, the biggest difference in this match so far is that he serves so well on the big points, does the Frenchman.
It's invaluable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been so glaringly obvious, hasn't it, Fitzy?
I think so. At the body, good versatility on the serve.
40.
And that's an underused weapon, I think, in the modern game. Certainly in the men's game. I think players could go to the body more. It's another option, keeps the opponent guessing, and it handcuffs a returner quite often.
Game team friends.
Served his way out of trouble.
Please.
It's got a familiar ring to it, hasn't it?
4 games to 2.
Just kept the Argentine at arm's length.
That also has another effect that Francisco had a chance here. There was an opening to break back. The Frenchman serves well to get out of trouble. There's another one to the body. See, that ball came off near the throat of the racket.
Balls to my right, please.
And ballooned long because he was jammed, didn't have any freedom to swing. So the body serve, I think, is excellent. And the body language of Cerundolo dropped immediately that the Frenchman held there. New balls. Still down a break is the Argentine. And I think the new balls suit Rinderknech more because it gives him the option to hit and come in a little bit more.
He's just chosen to stay back now. He's going to come in. I like the hit and come in here.
Well, the serve was good. It stopped him coming in, but
Love 15.
yeah, this time a backhand approach straight to the forehand.
But if you're coming down the line with a backhand approach, it's very difficult to get the ball up and down quickly. It's probably the second worst approach you can hit, especially when it's low.
Well, you could see there, the obvious one was to roll it across court, take the Frenchman out of court, and then anticipate really on the volley rather than just give him a free swing at the forehand. He's in trouble here.
Love the deal.
His forays forward have not been successful. It's an area that's going to need improvement if Cerundolo wants to have success, especially on the surface.
Rinderknech there imploring himself to get lower on that forehand. Too upright, he felt.
$15.40.
It just needed to stay in the air a little longer.
Game, Team France.
That's a donation to Rinderknech. Will take with open arms. Just one decent serve, one decent service game away now from wrapping this up. 5-2, the Frenchman leads. He's just managed his game so well this evening. Hasn't overplayed when the moments were right. He's been able to step up his level. Just asked enough questions of the guy on the other side of the court, and he has not had the answers. The first of the evening session as far as the United Cup is concerned here in Perth. Elise Cornet of France beat Maria Carley of Argentina 6-2, 6-1 to put the first points up on the board for the French. And it certainly looks like Arthur Rinderknech is going to add to that tally. He has been the better player for the majority of this match. He's played intelligent tennis when it matters most. Just one decent service game required to put this match on ice.
15.
It's been the bedrock of his game. Good patterns of play.
30 left.
It's been well measured. He hits that shot so well. Just drifts onto the forehand, moves through the shot on contact, and he's in the right place. Wasn't clean, but it was clean enough.
30-15.
Got to good chunk of the enamel white paint.
All.
He just hasn't got the spin control right this evening with that forehand. In the opening set, too many in the nets. In the second set for Cerundolo, too many that have gone long. And that unforced error brings up match point for Team France.
Game, set, match. Team France.
They'll do it.
2 sets to love.
That's a ticket to the party. Closes it out in the best possible fashion. Arthur Rinderknech, too big, too strong, and simply too good for Francisco Cerundolo. And it's Team France who are off to a flyer. Elise Cornet winning earlier this evening, and Arthur Rinderknech giving Team France a 2-love lead. He wins in an hour and a half, 4-2. Yeah, I think where I come from, that is called a clean kill. He was very efficient. Made the most of the opportunities that he got. And for his first match of the season, I think Arthur will be delighted with the way he performed. Definitely a surface that Cerundolo needs to improve upon. But no question, he was second best. Well, John Fitzgerald is courtside, ready to have a chat with the Frenchman. Let's hear from Fitzy and Arthur.
Arthur, well done. The first match of the season, never easy, and you've had some tough matches with him before. You played well tonight, though.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We played once before. It was a hard 3 sets. We didn't play our best tennis, but I ended up winning, but it was such a hard match, and I know him pretty well. He's such a great player, young, talented player. He's working hard, and yeah, it's a good first match for me to win this one.
Yeah, and the hard court you obviously feel very comfortable on, don't you? Those years in college have allowed you to really get used to this surface. It looked like it.
You don't want me to play well on clay, or?
I want you to play well on everything.
That was the same question last year, and I had to defend myself again and again.
Well, you look good tonight. You look like you felt very comfortable here, and I thought on the big points you played very well, especially your serve tonight.
Of course, yeah. I love the courts here in Australia. I felt really good last year. It was my first time in Australia, so I hope to have another good summer in Australia. Yeah, I played well on the big points. That helped me a lot, and happy with the win tonight again.
And your team is leading 2-0 now, so in good shape.
Really important, and but we have 3 more points tomorrow, so you know it's never easy.
Never easy.
Never over. We saw it in football, you know. So we get a.
I understand. Okay, well done, Arthur. It's good to have you back,
Thank you very much.
Gee, you're in good form. Well played.
Thank you for staying late. Thank you.
Well done.
Rinderknech wanting to be a good all-surface player. That's certainly what he wants to be known as.